এয়া আকাশবাণী গুৱাহাটীৰ মহাবাহু।
নমস্কাৰ শ্ৰোতাসকল, আজিৰ চলন্তিকালৈ স্বাগতম। আজিৰ অনুষ্ঠানত শুনক প্ৰশাসনিক সেৱাৰ বিষয়া তথা লেখক মধুসূদন নাথৰ সৈতে হোৱা সাক্ষাৎকাৰ। সাক্ষাৎ গ্ৰহণ মানস প্ৰতিম শৰ্মাৰ।
Good evening to all the listeners of All India Radio and wishes all of our esteemed listeners a very happy Rongali Bihu. This evening we are joined by bureaucrat turned writer Sri Madhusudan Nath. His second book has been published recently and we will talk on this book. Mr. Nath, would you please tell us what is your second book? What is the topic? What is all about in this book?
Second book is relating to Cotton College days, my Cotton College days actually. Mm-hmm. So I stayed in Cotton College for 5 years. It was from 1982 to 87. So during that period I had to stay in 2 hostels. So it was a long period, staying 5 years in 2 hostels of a college. So I had lots of memories actually, and when the memories sometimes came to my mind, I thought why I don't record them in writing. So that way it started. I started writing in Facebook only. I started in almost at the same time with my first book, Chronicles of a Civil Servant. So few episodes were not complete during that time. So Chronicles of a Civil Servant, that book was published a bit earlier. So almost the same time I used to write. So it was mainly about my days in Cotton College, not about Cotton College.
Mm-hmm. During your stay, your contemporary period, your colleagues, your hostel mates, your senior and junior.
Right.
And the name of the book is Cotton College.
Those rainbow days.
Those rainbow days.
Yeah.
We used to say those were the days or those are the days. So this is all about your days during Cotton College. What is the interesting facts came out from these books? Would you please tell us some of the few interesting events, happenings,
Actually the
or
name,
persons involved in your book?
Right. Actually the name itself indicates it's rainbow days. Rainbow has 7 colors. So Cotton College days were those days where we had different colors of life, different experiences. So that way the book has lots of memories of mine which I was gradually forgetting. But when I started writing, then they began to come to my mind again. So to be specific about a few episodes, I would like to say one thing. One episode that is about cost in the hostels of Cotton College.
Mm-hmm.
The story of cost plays an important role. It is a matter of discussion among the boarders, the new boarders, those who have come to Cotton College, Guwahati for the first time. Most of them during our days came from the villages. So it was like that, and when we used to hear about cost in our villages also, but when it came to Cotton College, then also we came to know that there were some stories of cost. I wrote about the cost in chapter 3. The title was Cost That Were Friendly with the Borders. So there were different stories of cost. In second mess we heard about cost entering of a big rope from the through the ventilator. In New Hostel, we heard about a nurse walking from New Hostel to DS Hostel up to the wall facing the Reserve Bank of India. So but those are the stories. But one thing, after having a lot of discussion about cost, when we entered our rooms, then some kind of fear was always existent, was always haunting us. So one day what happened, I wrote in the episode, I was reading, I think, after dinner. So some sound was doos. This type of a sound was being heard in the veranda. So I was scared that it might have been the sound of a ghost. So after getting some courage, when I saw that the hostel Sokidar, whom we used to call Malikai, so he was asking for maize dues actually. So these are the incidents. And one more incident I would like to say, when we were just attending our classes, we did not have any idea about the buildings, where arts building was there, where administrative building was there. And from, I think, classes started from 9 or 9:30. So in between, we had some off periods. For one period off, then again started. So during that period, it was very difficult for us to come to hostel and go again. So we didn't have any idea. So we didn't know about, I personally, I didn't know about the location of the library also, to pass the time, to spend the off period time. So one day what happened, I sat in the staircase of the main building, administrative building. So that was a very big thing, sitting for a first year boy in the main in the staircase of the main building. So I didn't think, I was just doing it to spend the time. But in the meantime, I heard the sounds of someone coming to me, and when I look upwards and saw that it was the hostel monitor. So he just asked me to get up and told me to meet in the hostel in the evening. So when I came to the hostel in the evening and reported to him, then he said, this is not the behavior. This should not be the behavior of a hostel boy. So you should not do this. So when I explained to him that what made me sit there, then he understood. So those are the memories.
You have penned down here.
Yeah, I can.
And is there any writer, author who influenced you mostly while writing this book?
See, I was a student of literature, English literature, so I had the opportunity to read many of the essayists, novelists, playwrights also. So that way it is natural. I might have been influenced by someone, some English writer. So when I started writing, that sometimes I was thinking that perhaps I was writing in the style of Bacon. Sometimes I thought I might have been influenced by Charles Lamb. So that was my way of thinking only. But I cannot be the true judge for my writings. So when this book was released, this book was released by Professor Robin Goswami sir. He was a professor of English literature, Cotton College. So he said in his speech that my writing was influenced by Charles Dickens, and maybe some Indian writers in English also might have influenced my writing. So that's very difficult to say for me to about the influence of other writers on my writings.
And what is the response of your colleagues, your senior, your hostel mate, your roommates?
Yeah.
Because it's a 4 or 5 years journey while you were in Cotton College, so you gathered lots of information while you that's describe also your contemporary friends, colleagues, seniors, juniors, all of them. So what's their response to your book?
The response was very big actually. when I convened the meeting, the book launch meeting, then what I thought was I would invite my batchmates, my seniors, immediate seniors, and my immediate juniors, because they were most of them were the part of what I was writing. So I personally did not meet them also to invite to my function, but all of them, whoever could be contacted in message or even messenger, all of them, they came from long distances, and entire alumni house of Cotton College was full. So that way, and after the function also, when they went back to their places, they let me know, they wrote about the book in Facebook or other media. It was very useful, it was very interesting for them.
And what do you think as a writer, what is the response to your book that being written in English from Assam? I mean, how is the English readers in Assam? So what's the number tentatively? Like, do you still believe one can write in English in Assam and get a good hefty return in terms of financial way?
Financial way I cannot say, because I have it is my passion only. So I have written the book.
But what is the what do you think? What is the readers?
Yeah, I am telling. But the readers, now it was earlier it was very difficult to think about readership for an English book. But now the readership has increased for English book, and we have seen some. There are some Assamese writers also writing in English, and most of the boys and girls of the younger
young generation,
they are now interested. They read books. They write also, and the response is good.
And since you personally wrote it, both books have been written in English. Do you have any plan to get it translated in Assamese?
Yes, the earlier book, the first book, is being translated into Assamese. It has the translation is complete. Now we are expecting to get it in print in a month or two. So that book has been translated by Aruti Kolita. She has done a great job for me.
Okay, so readers can also have it in our own language, our mother tongue, very soon. Okay. And again, thank you, Mr. Nath, for giving us your time and valuable inputs on our book and as a whole, and the literary other things also. Thank you again.
Thank you more from my side also.
Thank you.
চলন্তিকা শুনিলে। আজিৰ অনুষ্ঠানত প্ৰশাসনিক সেৱাৰ বিষয়া তথা লেখক মধুসূদন নাথৰ সৈতে হোৱা সাক্ষাৎকাৰটি শুনিলে। অনুষ্ঠানটি প্ৰযোজনা কৰিলে মানস প্ৰতিম শৰ্মাই। সহযোগিতা আগবঢ়ালে অপূৰ্ব মালিয়ে। পৰৱৰ্তী চলন্তিকা শুনিবলৈ পাব অহা সপ্তাহৰ আজিৰ এই একে সময়তে। নমস্কাৰ।